take Dreamhack Tour 2018 3-1 on Sleep to Awake. And you could tell after the first map that that was the only thing that was going to be happening here on Monday.
And there wasn't even much of a massive pop-off there from Liquid. They were calm, collected, fist bump. Not like it's another day in the office, of course.
As usual,
but,
right?
I mean, they were so focused. And now, at long last, Team Liquid can rest easy.
Nah.
Liquid. I said Liquid. I promise. I didn't say Liquid. Moving on.
Well, that's it. They've done the sacrifice. They've done duel. They've done 2v2.
Well, the ball's now in its court to release a new game mode for them to win.
Please, Machiavelli, don't tweet straight away. There's the boys right there. They're going to be pumped. Claws and Science have a lot to think about there, though, because I know they're really determined to get a victory, and I think this is really going to drive home, actually, what the competition is really like on the other side of the pond.
It's sending an absolute message, and you know, Death did say this yesterday, an NA team winning this tournament will send another message, like enough hasn't been sent already. And you know 0-4, we saw him there handing them that giant check. I think he's going to be a happy boy as well.
Oh, 100%. And I'll make an admittance right now. I will never, ever, hand on heart, underestimate NA ever again.
I mean,
until the next event.
when will we learn? This happens every time, Zoo.
You know what? I'm glad that it's happening. I'm so happy that Liquid are taking out, because these are kind of things that happen that make EU even stronger, and it really drives that competition even more. We need these kind of things. It's a wake-up call. EU can be so kind of confident in themselves, but Liquid, Rapha and Dahang, the practice day in, day out. We get to see their practice live. They put it here, live on show, and it's super impressive.
So while wasting no time,
I think
win an interview. Yeah,
I'm leaving. That's the one. I'm out, guys.
It's the queue. Thank you very much, Zoot. We'll see you. We'll see you around. Yes. Make sure to pass them the chair, Zoot. Who wants the good chair? There's one here. Yes. We have a small seat. Well, I'm joined by the men of the hour, Team Liquid. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
That looks like a hard set of Quake.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, yeah.
These guys are no joke.
Yeah, the good. The first loss was probably, like, in the weirdest way, kind of like the best way to lose, because the way they got that momentum was neither of us got the red off the spawn. So I spawned, I'm talking about on Blood Covenant, I spawned at lower green armor, and I'm not sure exactly where you spawned, but we just left red up. So they basically got mega and red armor, or heavy armor, and so that gave them that initial momentum on Blood Covenant. So knowing that it felt like we could justify that was like a rare situation.
Yeah.
So we
they
knew
had all guns. Both were stacked for like 3 minutes straight, and then the protection, I was 3 health. So like the one chance to like start turning it around early, like there's no way I'm gonna survive. Like he spawned on the other side of the map, and then they just kept running that control. But yeah, to what he was saying, like when we started to bring it back, we started to realize and like get a feel of their play. And the more that we timed to the second and just like we're super precise about whether we're all inning certain fights or whether we're playing passive and just chipping away at them and like cutting them off between, like the more and more we played, the better it got. And you could tell like by the last 2 maps, like we just took advantage of them being split a lot. And I don't know what happened on Awoken, but it felt like they fed some, and I just like feasted.
That's a big thing that we saw there, and I kind of actually want to really sort of talk about that. How we were going into in-game comms on a regular basis throughout that grand finals. You know, both you guys.
Oh, excuse my language then. Sorry.
To be fair, we caught the most minimal of swears, but you've earned it anyway. But whenever we would go into your comms, win or lose, even if you guys were against a massive deficit, like particularly at the start in the very first map, Blood Covenant, you were non-stop. You know, you could hear a little bit of frustration, of course. Yeah. It's the setting, but the comms were there, the information was there, and you guys never let up. As players of your own caliber, how much does it take to make sure that you never get flustered and you just maintain that level of comms regardless of the situation?
I think it comes from scrims or like it's scrims, and then every now and then you play like an online cup and you lose a match, and it's because you started bickering and complaining, and instead of like giving important information that Dahang needed, I was complaining, or vice versa. So you start to realize like just don't do anything that will possibly help the other team to get them to victory. Like do everything that you can to make sure that you're not losing. And so we just stayed positive and just kept up the good comms, and Tim did a great job of keeping us in the game with being very objective oriented. Like, what is our best fight that's coming up? What can we fight for? What we can't? Yeah, he definitely led the way in that regard.
So this is another game mode you guys have been able to win. Is this kind of like, actually on the subject of 2v2, is this a game mode you guys would like to sort of see continue? Are you kind of wanting to go back to duel as well? What are your thoughts, I suppose? Now you've been able to basically win championships in every single game mode that it have released for Quake Champions. Out of the three of them, what do you guys like the most?
Well, personally, the one I like the most is Sacrifice. The way you can, especially now that the game is actually more balanced in terms of champions, like I think it'd be even more interesting in terms of like, okay, what comps do you use here, with there, so on and so forth. Like prior, there might have been 5 or 6 in the meta champions. It might be 8 or 9 that could potentially, because I think like Slash would still be very good. And I just think it's a more interesting approach to a game with the way you have to play offense and defense and just constantly adapt. That's probably my favorite. But I love 2v2 as well. That's like the second favorite.
Yeah, I'd say 2v2 right now feels really good. I can't wait for CTF, but I'd say I'd like to see at least another tournament or two of 2v2 and see how the story progresses with certain teams, whether they stay together, whether they improve and whatnot. So hopefully, I'm hoping QuakeCon is 2v2. That's my hope. But then I wouldn't mind, like, if there's a duel tournament near the end of the year, if they decide Dreamhack Winter is that, then it'd be nice. It's just, I think Tim and I have played duel for so long, it's like refreshing to play something a little different. And to kind of like mix up the tournaments like that, I think would be a nice touch to like the Quake circuit.
I think it's funny you should mention QuakeCon, because that was actually going to be my next question. You know, we know that we're a mere few months away from the latest QuakeCon taking place. No doubt there's going to be a lot of Quake Champions activity there. North America came out really strong in this tournament. You know, we saw a lot of American representation. Some of the teams moved on. Obviously, some didn't. As now, obviously, champions of 2v2 and champions of Dreamhack, what advice would you give to other North American teams when they kind of have these long treks, these long trips? If you could give them advice, I guess, to be more prepared for these kind of tournaments at the next big LAN, what would you give them?
You can go first. You. And me? Okay. Well, I think some of the teams already did it. Like, they got here a few days earlier to try to battle jet lag. They were in Paris at some internet cafe practicing, so that's really good. But when it comes down to the fact that we literally can't play European teams, you have to, anytime you get a chance to watch like their play style and what they're doing like in their tournaments, you should. Like, either you can find out whether, okay, we're actually doing much better than them in this regard, or I heard that. I'll do that in a bit.
Anyway,
yeah,
continue.
Yeah, so you figure out whether you're doing things better than them or if you can learn from them. Like, I think you should always be looking to improve and realize the fact that the players at the top are there for a reason. They're that good. It's like Closet Silence Up didn't, beat Toxin Crown because they're just average. Like, they are really, really good. And you have to prepare and be at your best. And, like, yeah, just learn from the other teams if you can and just do your best to adapt mid-game.
Yeah, and I mean, I would also just say the scene's actually been growing a bit for North American 2v2. So just keep the effort going, keep the internal, North American scrims going. And I know, like, before we even got to Europe, that we improved so much because of the scrimming, and I could tell that other teams did too. So just keep the practice going and bounce ideas off each other, even with other teams. Everyone's like pretty friendly and open, and it ends up not being such a secret, like, because people are streaming all the time, like what's in the meta, what works on some maps, what doesn't. So like ask for tips, like feed off each other and improve as a whole.
Yeah, and I know from us personally, I know some teams haven't, but like if we see a team that's like up and coming in some of the cups, we'll at least give them like a slot during a week or two and like give them a chance to see if like they're improving and if they're worth our time. And if they're not, then we'll take them off the schedule and give them another chance a few weeks in advance, like give them some time to improve. We're definitely not ones to try to like shut out everybody and like keep everything a secret or something, unlike another team.
Well, look, the thing about that is I think you guys are doing a really good job of kind of showing that attitude is important, scheduling is important. I think just general training regime is important. It's not just about putting in hours, it's making sure how you really optimize the hours that you spend with the game. So one final question, I think I'll ask you first, Dahang. Yeah. Any final notes for the people watching at home, the people here? What would you like to say?
Just keep supporting Quake. The game has gotten so much better over the past 12 months. It's night and day. The performance, the netcode, just all-around champion balance, more maps. It's actually like really fun to play. So just keep it going.
what he said, and then on top of that, I just really want to thank Team Liquid for setting us up with the boot camp, and like it makes a big difference, like to be able to get that practice right before the tournament and play the best competition, and I think results proved that today. So I really appreciate it for the support that they give us, and thanks for obviously hosting the tournament. You guys did a great job with casting.
Well, thank you very much.
Definitely improving on understanding what's going on in the game, and it's good to see.
Well, I really appreciate that very much. So that's all we have time for here at Dreamhack Tour. Thank you all for watching. Massive congratulations to Team Liquid.
Thank you.
We will see you at the next
sure.
tournament.